Obama have been issuing orders, directives, bypassing Congress. They don't need to go to Congress, just like you feel like you don't need to go to Congress, which are unprecedented issue of executive orders. They tell us what kind of fuel to use. They say where or where not a factory can locate. Is it a union state? Is it a non-union state? Union state? You don't have that authority. You tell us what we can buy and what we can't buy. You force this healthcare law down our throats. You and your cohorts, the gang of thieves in the Senate. That's right, gang of thieves. What are they robbing? They're robbing our constitutional rights. That's what they're robbing. Hopefully, the United States Supreme Court will overturn that ridiculous law. You know that law that's thousands of pages, this thick? You know there's a reason that this document, the Constitution of the United States, is only a few pages, very simple to read. And it's not because they wanted it to be open to interpretation by anybody who opened it and looked at it. It's because the founders believed that the American people should be able to understand their laws and our rights. Our God-given rights. That's right, God-given rights. And they make it clear in the Constitution and in their explanations of it, of the Constitution in the Federalist Papers, that laws should be kept very simple so that the simple everyday man can read it and understand it. But you, not only you, many of those who have preceded you as president and many who have preceded our present members in the House and in the Senate have disregarded that completely. And you have created and written laws with so many pages, so many volumes, so many references to past laws that nobody, no matter how hard they tried, could understand it, could understand those laws. And even people who want to be law-abiding citizens find themselves breaking the law. Look at our tax code, for crying out loud. And this is all an attempt to make it harder and harder for us to understand our rights, for us to understand the laws that we're governed on, and to make it easier and easier for you and government to take control. You have created class warfare. Just like all we have to do is look at the television. You, President of the United States, are pitting class against class. Let me explain something to you, Barack Obama, and all you members of the Slapperwood Syndicate. Of course, I know you folks out there know this. The American dream, the real American dream, is to improve our economic stature and to get rich. Accumulate as much money and as much pleasures and as much things that we can to make our lives easier. Since when is it a sin to become rich? And let me explain something to you. Barack Obama, we understand. The American people understand. And you young folks out there, pay attention there. You see, when you depend on the government, they'll only allow you to go so high. Why? Because they're paying for it. When they have to pay for things, the money runs out. They like to say, oh, we'll tax the rich. The rich are already paying about half their salary. How much more do you think they should take from the rich? Half. When all these taxes are taken into account. And this balderdash, they tell you the Buffett rule. Let me tell you something. If Warren Buffett worked at a job, the same job as his secretary, and they both made $100 a week, they would both pay the same percentage of taxes. For the sake of this particular example, let's just say it's 35%. because that's the top tax bracket. Well, if Warren Buffett one day decides to stop working, he doesn't pay income tax anymore, because that's what that 35% is, income tax. And instead of working, he takes the money he saved while he was working and he invests it. That money he already paid taxes on. And when he invests it, he makes dividends. Those dividends are taxed at 15%, the capital gains tax. So if the government raised the tax of millionaires from 35% to 100%, Warren Buffett would still be making the same 15% because it's a different tax. So don't listen to this clock of balderdash that the president tries to shove up your buttocks there and down our throats, that he wants to make things fair. What is fair anyway? Fair to me may be different than fair to you. There is no definition of fair, but it's a nice sound bite. And I want to apologize now for going all over the place, but this is such a complicated subject that how can I not go all over the place? So this president, you, Barack Obama, and you, the Senate, you create class warfare. You, that's right, the Senate. You people need to be replaced also. You pillagers and thieves. The one job you're supposed to do, create a budget, you haven't even brought to the table in 3 years. You haven't passed a budget in 3 years. When the Congress, when the members of the House of Representatives put bills before you, the whole idea is you're supposed to vote on it, discuss it, make changes, come to a solution. You don't even discuss it, you table it. Hattie Reid. Listen, I don't care whether you like Mitt Romney, whether you don't like Mitt Romney, whether he was your choice or not. He's going to be the nominee against Barack Obama. And believe you me, he is a gazillion times better and will be a gazillion times better, regardless of whether you think, whether or not he was your first choice. He will be a gazillion times better than Barack Obama is as president, because Barack Obama is destroying the United States of America, period. He's not allowing a pipeline to be built, a pipeline that will not only make it less expensive to import oil from Canada down to the refineries in the Gulf and create possibly a couple of thousand jobs in the process. But the little known fact, and the fact it is, that you see right now that oil comes down by truck, a very expensive way of making it come down. And while they say it's environmental reasons why they don't want the pipeline, can you imagine what happens in a truck accident carrying all this oil? But who owns a good portion of the railroad that is transporting this oil from Canada to the United States right now without the pipeline? Oh, I wonder, Izzy, who could own a big majority of the company who's the railroad company that transports the oil? Warren Buffett, that's who. So we have a president now that uses class warfare, trying to pick the children, the young people, try to make them seem like it's not good to accumulate wealth. Of course it's good to accumulate wealth. Does anybody out there who is poor, does anybody know anybody who is poor who does not want to become rich? I don't. I never met a man. And you know, rich and wealth is also very subjective times. Because to a poor person, wealth is getting to the middle class. And to a middle class person, wealth is going higher to the upper middle class and then to riches. Well, when you make wealth the bad guy, and you try and prevent people from gaining wealth with taxes and regulations and more regulations and more regulations.